Welcome back, everyone. It's Mark with ExoticCar PlayPlace, standing in front of the E60 M5. Today is the next video in the series of videos talking about the top 10 things that you need to know about the E60 M5. And so at the end of the video, I'm going to feature three things. If you stick around long enough, I'm going to show you a before and after startup. So a cold start, I'm going to show you the exhaust and the engine sound, and a hot running engine and exhaust sound. So I'm going to show you both of that at the end. As well, I'm going to explain to you the next video in the series, which will be later this week, of course. I'm going to give you that little hint as to what's going on. And as well, I'm going to give you the three things, the three solutions to improving the sound if you don't like the sound of the E60 M5 at cold start. There's three things I'm going to throw in at you at the end. And you stick around to the very end, you'll find out exactly what those things are. But before we get rolling, you make sure you give my channel a like, thumbs up, of course. Don't forget to share it with your friends. And most importantly, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do subscribe, get on board, follow lots of great E60 content and a lot of great supercar content. As you probably already know, I drive Lambo, I drive this, that, and the other. Anyway, so moving right along. So for those of you who know the E60 M5, they make a lot of interesting noises when they're very cold. Some cars start them cold, warm, they always sound the same. That is not the case with the E60 M5. These cars put out a very, very peculiar sound, almost a kind of noise that is puzzling and worrying to a lot of owners, especially if you've never heard it before. And if it's your first time starting one of these up, you probably get a little stressed out at first. And I see a lot of the guys in the forums start asking the questions. They say, hey, I just bought my E60 M5. It's making these weird noises. It sounds like a diesel motor. What's going on with that car? Well, yes, in fact, and you've probably seen Tiff Needell in some of his videos in Fifth Gear. You've probably seen some of the other guys and critics talk about the cold start of these cars. So not only do they have a noisy exhaust note, but they actually sound like a diesel engine on the front end. The diesel engine, they get very rackety and kind of make a lot of noise. And that's, like I said, very disturbing for some people. So what causes this? This really, in essence, is BMW's way of regulating the fuel mixture to ensure that you get a faster, more accelerated heating of the catalytic converters so the car can heat up more quickly and be more efficient in its performance. Of course. So how does it do that? Well, primarily, what's going on in there? There's some timing things that are happening. There's a secondary injection air pump. But more importantly, the big thing is actually the leaning of the fuel. And if you're not sure if you're aware of that or not, when you richen up fuel mixture, typically things cool down because the fuel, believe it or not, actually cools. If you lean the mixture, what ends up happening is you can create a detonation situation. Now, because the car is idling at cold, you're not worried about that, but it leans it up so that it creates excess heat in the exhaust, which therefore transfers through the catalytic converter, gets that heated up, and allows the car to run more efficiently. Now, for those of you who are worried that, my car's making a lot of noise, is it something I should be worried about? Well, trust me when I say, with the E60, it is so full of complex engine management systems that if anything was slightly out of kilter or out of rye, the systems are very sensitive in these cars, and what you'll have is a case where the car actually spits out a code and it goes into limp and dump mode. So you'll know pretty quickly if there's something not really firing there properly. You'll know if you're running low or lean, or you're running basically missing cylinder firing orders, or some kind of problem like that. You'll know about that in a hurry. The car will spit that code out for you. Okay, so now here we go. We're gonna fire it up. You take a listen. I'm gonna sample the exhaust and sample the engine note. And of course, we're gonna do that now, and I will also give you back to back the sample of the warmed up car. And then I'll explain to you the three things that you can do to fix this problem. Sample of things, guys, that you can do if you don't like the sound of these cars on a cold start. Number one, put a race exhaust system on there. Then you don't hear it. Number two, sell the car. I guess unfortunately that's one of the things about these cars. Some people love it and some people don't love it. I'm pretty much used to it. It doesn't bother me. I know some people I've heard on the forums that are embarrassed by it, and when there's somebody who doesn't understand the car, they ask, why is your car making so much noise? So ultimately you can sell the car. That's an option. Another third option, which I do not recommend, I know it's an option, when you get those tuners that you can adjust and make some code changes within your computer, you're able to actually do the cold start delete on this, and you can actually wipe that out of the logic altogether and let the car warm up as it normally would in any other car. Now again, I don't recommend that. Again, it's part of the protective system, part of the way to advance and help the car move things along. So I would always recommend leaving status quo on that regard. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. You make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, of course, comment below. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. Don't forget to share with your friends, and of course, most importantly, if you're not already a subscriber, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, the next video, we're going to be talking about the sliding tachometer in these cars. A very unique, fun feature. Very few cars run, but we have that, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more detail on that. Thanks again, everybody. Mark here signing out. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.